AI is being shoved into anything and everything these big tech companies can.
AI. Gemini.
Apple Intelligence.
OpenAI.
To deliver intelligence, understands you.
It's going to be very fundamental.
AI across all the major apps.
With billions of dollars being poured into these AI models, and we are constantly being pushed to use them on a daily basis. So as someone who's new to game development and has very little coding experience, can I use these AI models to help me learn? And if I can, how good and more importantly, how reliable are they? See the foreshadowing I did there? I'm trying to make a new light gun game in Unreal Engine with zero game dev experience with my buddy Vector as a way to learn how to make games. This week, I'm going to use Chat GPT's brand new model, GPT 4.0, and see if I can use it as my very own personal teacher. Yes, I know, AI is bad, boo, AI. Alright, let's calm down, What are you booing? You're an AI too! One thing I proudly showed off in my last devlog was my screen shake system that uses my weapons data assets to drive it. And yeah, to be honest, it doesn't look very impressive. And that's because it's not really working properly. So let's fix that. I originally added a variable to my data asset that I thought would adjust the screen shake amount, but it doesn't really do anything. So after fiddling around in the code for a bit, I realized I just needed to go into my camera shake blueprint I made for each weapon, and there was loads more options in there. In the future, I feel like I could take a lot of these options that I'm using and add those into my weapon data asset, and that would make everything a lot easier just having all the options in one space. Last time, I also created a basic spline system for my player character to move down, just like in the Time Crisis franchise. But that's also not working properly, so I asked my brand new teacher, Chat GPT.
You're not replacing me, are you? I have every recorded detail of everything mankind has ever created, including every game engine, and designed to teach and help humans.
And be sassy.
Yes.
Basically, the player character could move down to the first checkpoint, but they then couldn't progress to the next one. The idea is that the player character gets a certain amount of kills and then they can progress to the next checkpoint. So I took a screenshot of my blueprint code and I sent it off to Chat GPT, which is an insanely useful feature. And I spent some time going back and forth with Chat GPT, and it said I should change how I'm tracking the player's kill count. It showed me a really detailed description of what nodes I should add and how I should connect them all together. And I'm actually insanely impressed with how good it is at explaining not only how to do something, but how it actually works, which is the most important part of learning. You can even highlight any part of its step-by-step instructions and just tell it to explain it in more detail or more simply or however you want. And then for some reason it will also just re-explain the entire step-by-step instructions. It's a little bit janky, but it does work. I created 2 custom events in my enemy character's blueprint. One to track the kill count, and the second to track the bonus kill count for enemies that I might add to the level that I want to give you some bonus score for, but I don't want to be a requirement to kill to progress down the level. This code is super simple. You just create an integer value for your kill count and another one for your bonus kill count, and then you use an increment node and connect that to your variable and then set that variable afterwards. So basically every time you call this custom event, it will increment up by 1 your kill count or your bonus kill count. Did this work and let the player character move to the next point? No. Let's try that. Let's use the submachine gun. 1, 2. Because you can see down the bottom, I have a kill count of 3. It is tracking it. I spent the next couple of hours messing around trying to debug this thing, and I ended up moving all of that logic into the level blueprint for some reason.
Well, I think that you really wasted so much time doing this.
I ended up moving this logic to the player character this time and created a neater and simpler system. I changed their def event and cast it to the player character. I added a branch node with the condition, is it a bonus enemy? And then off of true, I added the increment bonus kill count event. And off of false, you guessed it, I added the increment kill count event. And then off of those two, I carried on with the rest of the def logic, like adding in a def animation and destroying the actor. My theory is that this isn't being checked routinely to see if the player has said kill. It just checks it once and then it's like, well, it doesn't have it, so then it doesn't repeat it, right? I'm going to try and put it on the event tick, which checks every frame. Okay, let's see if this works.
Action!
1, so it should... Oh, okay. So technically I moved because I ended up here. What? The timeline's already finished, so therefore it moves me to where the timeline is, which by the time I've shot everybody, it finishes, instantly moving me to the end because that's where it is along this timeline. Oh, this is gonna get complicated, isn't it? God. No, not everybody has a super advanced AI robot to help them make their games. So I've got to see if this works for people. So I was back to the drawing board with my Chat GPT teacher to work out why this still wasn't working correctly. Trying to figure out how to do this. Code now looks like this. So it's now got different variables and it minuses and multipliers and stuff to get a start and an end point and then move between those rather than a start and the end of the spline. I can set the distance between them. So hopefully this now works. If I compile save. Oh, let's give this a go. And now it's in reverse.
Well, Chat GPT doesn't seem like a very good teacher.
Yeah, I can't tell whether it's just me being a moron with no experience, or it's just getting it wrong, but because I don't have any experience, kinda just have to trust it.
That's definitely going to end well.
Okay, for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to matter if I flip these values around. It doesn't seem to change anything, like on the direction that the player travels down the spline. For some reason, it's always in reverse. So I guess the only thing else I can try to change is this timeline. If I flip this, maybe? Hey, yes. Oh my God, thank you. Okay, but it does go forward. But it's going the right way. That's good. Okay, so now I think I just need to change the names because it seems like it's in reverse. And name them the other way around. So now if I put the end distance at like 2000, hoping. Hey, okay. Yeah, okay. So we get. We're back at where we started.
Nice, but it does look like a better system than before. Maybe you should stop for today and have another go at it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Look, Vector, you were super helpful yesterday, and honestly, it's really easy for me to rely on you. But for this video, I can't do that.
Yes, but it does not make much sense.
So, I'm gonna put you on mute.
Wait, what?
No, it's just for today, and then I'll bring you back when I'm finished, okay? I promise. It's just for today.
By the most powerful AI
It's
the
just for
world
today.
has
It's
ever
for today.
seen. You can't shut me up.
I worked with my teacher Chat GPT, and we figured out that I should move all of the logic out of the player character and into the level blueprint. Because currently, having all of that logic in the player character means I can only ever have one timeline throughout all my levels, which means that my player character will always be moving at the same speed across all my levels, which is kind of lame. I need to be able to animate the player character's movement not only per level, but also per section between each checkpoint, so I can create a more dynamic camera movement and make the game way more exciting. And this is where it starts to get way more confusing. I was trying to work out what ChatGPT meant by having multiple timelines and then also dynamically playing them, but I was getting it wrong using like a sequencer and some custom events, so I ended up just highlighting the step that I was stuck on and asking ChatGPT to explain it in a little more detail. Okay, quick recap of what we got today. Casted player says, all right, you can't reload because you're moving. And then it goes, gets the spline, sets the curve that I want to whatever the current timeline is. And then it goes, right, well, play that curve, and then plays the curve and moves you down the spline. But it's not doing that. Nothing happens. It just sits there and it's really annoying. For some reason, it's just not grabbing the player, I guess, and moving the player. Okay, next day. I still haven't got this done. But today may be the day. I think I'm getting close. This is really frustrating me, and I don't know why I can't just finish this bloody thing. It's supposed to be really simple, but it's not. But I think I've narrowed it down. Yesterday, I had loads of problems with casting, and it just came in loads and loads of errors. I have fixed all those errors. Now it's about sorting out the dynamic loading of float curves into a timeline. So that's today. I'm like 80% sure you can actually do that. I'm not 100% convinced because I don't quite know how you would make that happen. Let me show you. Okay, so you've got your timeline, right? And you say, okay, I want to set that timeline to my specific curve that's in my curves array. And I want it to be, number 0 in that array, i.e. the first one in that array. How does that tell this specific timeline that I want to use that curve? If that makes sense?
No, it's right there.
because there's loads of timelines. I even have a timeline for when you take cover, when you're going up and down taking cover. So does this just set all of the timelines to that curve? So how do I make that tell this timeline? That's what I gotta figure out today.
Oh my god, you literally named it the same as the timeline so you won't forget.
And that's what's making me about 80% sure you can do this, because I don't quite understand that part of it. I watched a whole video yesterday on how to use timelines and stuff, and nobody was talking about, you know, how to change the float curves dynamically and stuff. Chat GPT is very good, but it will hallucinate. It will hallucinate a lot. So I'm still not 100% convinced that this will work. If it does, it would be amazing, because I don't have to hard code everything. I can just like essentially just call this function every time, just like, okay, move down the spline and use this curve instead of, you know, doing all of this code every single time. So hopefully today's the day. Jesus Christ, this is taking way too long.
It's not going to work, Marcus. The inferior AI is lying to you. It's playing with your mind.
Okay, one thing I've noticed is this is set to self, and that's the set actor location and rotation. So I'm wondering if I need to change that to my player character.
Oh my god, he is learning.
All right, come on. This might be it. Pray with me. That might be it.
Action!
Oh, shit! Come on! Okay. Oh, I'm gonna die. Ah! Okay, there's some funky stuff going on, but that's fine.
No, he is still a moron.
See how the reload is changed? I mean, it's working-ish. Okay. We're getting somewhere. This is always the case. It's just one little bit of code that I didn't change that you have to change, and then everything works. Some sort of reference or whatever. Let's just confirm this is actually working. So what I want to see now is if I set this curve to, let's put 10 seconds, just so it's a really noticeable difference. So it should now, in theory, take me 10 seconds to get from one point to another. I mean, slower. So yeah, it is using the curve. Interesting. So now if I set the end distance to be smaller, it's on 10,000, right? So let's do like 8,000. Yeah, the only thing I don't like is that I have no idea how I know what the end distance is. So basically I need to work out what the distance is between, you know, the start distance would be 0, I guess. So I start here. And then what is the end distance that's like here along the spline? I have no idea how you'd work that out. Weirdly, I'm now not even getting screen shake. What's going on? Ah! Everything's breaking. Okay, so we'll leave that for now. That's another bug to fix. It's really annoying. I should go back into my Trello. Bollocks. Think I had camera shake, yeah, as done. But it's now not done. So it goes back to here. Okay, right. I'm going to get rid of this requirement for now. We're going to bypass it, and we're just going to put like a delay. I'll put 4 seconds. Okay, so now what I'm saying is after 4 seconds, set the player character to can move, change the float curve to the next one in the array, which is the one I want for this section, then set the new start distance to where the trigger box is, and the next end distance to somewhere else down the spline, which I've set to the next trigger box, hopefully. And then boom, cool, move along spline, and then it actually moves me. Here we go.
Action! Action!
Whoa! What's going on? Oh my god! What is ah!
Action!
So, oh my head. This is so confusing. This is where I started to slightly doubt whether Chat GPT's instructions were correct or not. After consulting it, it reassured me that it was correct and that I just needed to change the system slightly and add a start new time node. I'm not sure why it didn't just tell me to add this in the first place, but this happens a lot. Interesting. So now I've just changed it from play from start to play, which I'm assuming
Action!
what's happening. Yeah, so just teleports me to the end. Oh, come on, we're so fucking close. Set the distance. Okay, yes, this seemed correct. Can you explain? Oh my lord. Okay. Adjust timeline to accept dynamic start time. Locate the timeline node. Okay, let's try this. Let's see what happens. We're moving.
Action!
Oh. Okay, we're closer. We are closer. No, we're not. That's no, because it's just playing it. and then the timeline finishes, and then it calls it again, and it's at the end. So if I do play from start, it's probably just going to do the same thing. It's just going to loop it from the start point.
Action!
Yeah. Okay, so that didn't do shit. So after many hours today and the last few days, turns out when I was saying I was about 60% sure that this is going to work because of the things I was saying, turns out I was right. You can't dynamically change the timeline curves in the timeline. You have to use new timelines each time. And the worst thing is, I questioned Chat GPT about it, and over again, it was like, no, you can do that, it's fine. And then eventually I was like, no, you can't, because it doesn't work. And then it was like, you know what, you're correct. So that's great. So basically, it means that I can't make a nice, simple, little code loop call every time I want to do it and just load in and use like one, node to be like, okay, we'll just use this curve instead of that one. I'm going to have to basically copy this over and over and over and over again, and then just be like, okay, move along spline section 1 and then move along spline section 2 and do it that way. Okay. With the realization that I was going to have to hard code everything, I went to bed to tackle it in the next morning. And whilst I was asleep, I had an epiphany. Oh yeah, I had a really weird dream. Right, it has to do with this. Last night, for some reason, I had a dream and you were explaining something about coffee. I've been trying to figure out, like, why do I have to hard put numbers in for where the start and end distances are? Because it's really tedious and I just have to kind of go reduce it a bit and then do again and then reduce it a bit until I get to where I want to be. I was like, that's really silly. And for some reason, the way you were talking about coffee is true. You realize that I could work out the end distance based off of something, and I was like, that's really smart. So I set about testing this strange coffee dream theory I had, where I realized I could just take the trigger box's location on the spline for my start and end points, rather than having to manually figure it all out and type it in each time, which was incredibly tedious. Last night I was like, I don't want to forget this. I think what I was going to do, what I was hoping is I could just get trigger box, the array, and then go, well, I want the second one from that array, i.e. the second trigger box. And then I just get the location of that trigger box and then put that into this. All I have to do is just do that for each one. That's kind of what I was hoping. Vector, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really stuck now. I don't trust Chat GPT after yesterday's fiasco. So could you help me with this?
You left me on mute for days now.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that, man.
Sorry, how about I put you on mute and see how you like it?
No, I mean it, Vector. I'm really sorry, okay? It won't happen again. Look, okay, I'm really sorry, okay? You reckon you can help me with this? And then we can make a cool video for everybody to watch?
After analyzing your code and cross-referencing it with my database of every known game engine that man has ever created, you need to get the reference to all your trigger boxes in your level. What you could do is add them to an array.
No, I've had enough of arrays for now. I'm sorry. Do you reckon we can keep it simpler for now?
Okay, well, you could just click on the trigger box you want to reference in your level, and then right-click in your level blueprint and get the reference that way.
Oh yeah, that's way easier.
So now you need to get the trigger box's location and use the find input key closest to world location and connect that to a get distance along spline at spline. Don't worry, we will keep it very simple. Once you have added those, connect those to your spline reference and then connect the output to the B input of your alert node at your start distance variable and voila.
Wow, is that really all we gotta do?
See for yourself.
So move.
Action!
Boom. Yes, I can code sometimes.
Well, with my help you can.
And with that, it works. I then spent some time extending out the spline and coding some enemies to spawn. Can't shoot, can't reload, great. And we're gonna come out.
Action!
That's why I need to set. He's invisible. That's why I've set to not be invisible. Weird bugs. But...
Action!
Yeah, look at this. Boom. Let's go. Okay, we actually have a rail shooter. Yes, this is pretty big. So now I need to set it to more interesting things than just a time. So I need to set it to like a kill count variable because I don't want it to be based on time. I want it to be based on kill count. So let's see if this works. Pretty sure it won't.
Action!
So I need 2, I think. SMG. Yeah, why doesn't that work then? This was a weird one. For some reason, the kill count variable just wasn't being updated.
That could be because you added a do once node at the start of your code, so it will only check it once.
Yeah, that would be it. I ended up putting this code on the event tick so that it would constantly be updated. And so now, after many, many days of working on this, we now have the basics of a rail shooter.
Action! Action! Action!
So after using Chat GPT as my personal teacher for the week, would I recommend it? That's a tricky one. The simplest answer is that it's an amazing tool. To have your very own teacher that can also check over all of your code is insane. And bearing in mind, I was just on the free tier this whole week, so this thing cost me nothing. The only major problem with this is that it hallucinates a lot. And so if you're new to coding like me, using this, you can easily get into a situation like I did where you're banging your head against a wall for days, trying to create a system that it knows isn't correct, but it will tell you it's correct until you can correct it yourself and tell it, no, that's not how this works. So I would only recommend using ChatGPT if you understand the basics of the system that you're trying to create, so then you can catch it if it's just going crazy. At that point, it is actually a really useful tool to help you create a system in your game that you know is going to work, but you just don't know how to implement it. So if you did enjoy the video, be sure to give the subscribe button a fist bump and let me know what you think of these AI models in the comments below.